I am WWF's longest reigning light heavyweight champion, Gilbert, and you are now somewhere in the ring.
The following podcast is scheduled for one recording with no time limit. Making their way down to somewhere in the ring, Andrew Sanford and Ryan Sprague.
I almost tripped coming down the ramp there during our entrance.
Oh man, have you? I wish I could remember. I feel like I've definitely watched people trip or seen people trip on the way into the ring before, but I wish I could remember some more specifically. I'm surprised that doesn't happen more often.
I know. Well, there's always the infamous, what was his name at the Royal Rumble that head dive?
Oh man, I've seen that clip. I could not tell you who that is if you threatened to pull out my fingernails. I that's nuts. Oh man, who was that? Yeah, they go right under the ring.
It's so sad that we can't remember his name, yet he will be remembered forever.
Yes. It's also one of those things too where the ground is slick and then they are oiled up on top of that. So it's just it's a perfect storm for almost going completely under the ring. Exactly. Like Roman Reigns was last night. We're tying it back.
I love how they're hiding under the ring again. That was such a mid-80s, 90s sort of thing.
Well, it was funny too because they talk about that, or that happened on the same day that the CM Punk interview that we'll get to later. He talks about hiding under the ring and having to pee really bad. Oh wait, no, or was that in a different? That was in a different CM Punk interview I watched yesterday.
Oh man,
that I did send
CM Punk binge.
I mean, in what I think is very smart of them is they're basically being like, you can't get in the ring, but we're still gonna we're gonna send you on this 2-hour interview. We're gonna put you. It was basically him and Randy Orton watching their WrestleMania match together, which I remember fondly. I remember that match. And it's a great little interview because it's the first time they have sat in the same room and talked for a decade.
Wow.
Yes.
I still have to watch that.
Early on, they reference how it's like them just going to therapy together. And it really does feel that way in such a wonderful way. It's two men who have grown past where they were the last time that they were interacting with each other and just being cool about it, and being grown-ups about it. It was really nice and refreshing. It's funny. And again, we'll get to this. I don't want to bury the lead too much, but Punk talks a lot up in the interview that he did yesterday on the MMA Hour that he thinks that the curtain gets pulled back too much to the detriment of wrestling. And I both agree and disagree with that. And part of the disagreement is because of the sit down that he did with Randy Orton, which I thought was pretty fantastic. And it's important, I think, for people to see sometimes that it's not real. As silly as that sounds, some people I think need to get reminded. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I don't want to blow your mind right now.
Dude. I mean, and we'll get to it.
Welcome to Somewhere in the Ring.
Welcome,
I'm Andrew
guys.
Sanford. This is Ryan Sprague. This is our podcast, and we're so happy you could join us today.
Absolutely, man. We are a week away from WrestleMania.
Well, less than a week. Days. We are days away. We can say days now. We are 5 days away, 3 days away, 4 or 5, whatever. I feel like WrestleMania started yesterday with the MMA really hour, honestly.
Yeah. I'm getting butterflies in my tummy. But before we do anything else, man, some stuff to share. We got our first patron. Papa Sprague is in the house.
Boom.
Gotta love him.
Boom.
Joining our Patreon.
Yes, we do.
Got his name on Andrew's podium.
Mm-hmm.
We're calling it
yes.
podium.
Oh, I like that. We are going to call this a podium. I like that.
Okay.
That's much better than a super professional audio box. A spab. It's better than a spab. But thank you, Papa Sprague. And if you want to join in on the fun, get your name on this very professional podium that is absolutely not a box of overnight diapers, go to our Patreon, patreon.com/somewhere in the ring. check us out. See what we got. We got some fun stuff that is going to be exclusive there. At one point, the match commentaries will move behind the Patreon paywall, so enjoy those for now. And then if you want to keep listening later, that's where they're going to be. And we're going to get some movie commentaries on there. I am going to force Ryan to watch Ready to Rumble with me, the Scott Conn, David Arquette classic. It's going to happen. Joe Pantoliano. I think Rose McGowan's in that movie. Pants, man. Who doesn't love Joey Pants? Anybody with a pulse loves Joey Pants.
It's so true. Daredevil. What else we got?
If it wasn't for Joey Pants, The Matrix, man. We were on 25th anniversary of The Matrix, and Joe Pantoliano makes you feel like it's a good idea to sell out humanity. That's how good he is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's just like, what does this steak taste like? We don't need to go on a Matrix rant. But
welcome to Joey Pants Hour. I love it. We always do this. We always do. Well, one other awesome thing, buddy, we have to share. We got our second Apple Podcast review, 5 stars from David. And yeah, guys, if you want to send us your review over on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get the show, we will read them on the show. If it's somewhere that doesn't show the reviews, just email it to us. somewhereinthering@gmail.com. But David, thank you. He says, awesome time. I've been a longtime fan of Ryan with his Somewhere in the Skies podcast, and now Somewhere in the Ring is blowing me away. Listening is like hanging out with old friends, talking about wrestling, and with how the wrestling business is changing for the better. It's great to share the developments with friends. Great job, guys. I love that. And
Ryan, what's even more fun? We have a third one on there.
Oh, I haven't even checked this morning.
We do. Yeah. It's this is from Podcast Scribe. Ryan's and Andrew. That's okay. It's a little. Ryan and Andrew make a great team on this unique pro wrestling podcast. They play off each other well while being entertaining without the humor feeling forced. I can't recommend this show enough to people looking for some fun, light listening by 2 genuine fans. Podcast Scribe. Thank you. That means a lot. That's very nice of you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So yes, please leave reviews. Let us know if you want to do an audio review. We'll play that on here as well. But hey, at the end of the day, this show will get out to more people and allow us to cover more ground if you write those reviews on places like Apple Podcasts and on Spotify and things like that. It helps with the visibility, like very truly. So if you are listening to this right now and are enjoying yourself, please just take a moment, go to where you get your app, follow, review, rate. It will just help us so much, and we will appreciate it greatly.
Absolutely. Let's get into some quick news because we have a lot to talk about.
We have a lot to cover today.
Favorite WrestleMania moments and our predictions for WrestleMania. So let's go right into the news. And what better fast way to start than with Speed? WWE Speed premiere date revealed, which is tomorrow, actually. It's going to be starting tomorrow. And this is a new title that's going to be going on. A tournament will be held on Speed, which will air exclusively on X starting on April 3rd. Each match will have a 3-minute time limit. The winner of the tournament will receive a new title, the WWE Speed Championship. The idea of the tournament is to highlight speed, strength, agility, and focusing on getting to the finish line before time runs out. They kind of tested this at a SmackDown a few months back, apparently. And it's being reported that this is going to be at least a 2-year deal between X and WWE. So these will be airing exclusively on X. What do you think about this, man?
Let me hold on, because I actually wrote down a response to this.
Cool.
Boo! Okay, first of all, I think one of my favorite new Twitter X follows, because I do use X, even though it is a cesspool run by an idiot, owned by an idiot, is from Piper Niven. Niven, wrestler Piper Niven, fantastic Piper Niven, who I started following on X. I've been trying to follow more wrestlers recently anyway, but she was really giving it to Bubba Ray Dudley, who it was just being a jerk. But she pointed out almost immediately, she's like, 3-minute matches, ladies, it's our time to shine. Wait, what do you mean it's not for us? And almost immediately I was like, yeah, first of all, A, good for her for speaking up. B, this is just highlights again that the WWE should be doing mixed gender matches in general, or just having matches between everybody. I don't even think you have to call them anything else at this point. It is a blind spot that WWE has still not addressed for whatever dumb reason. I would love to watch Rhea Ripley fight Bobby Lashley, or to watch Becky Lynch take on CM Punk. Like, there are so many options that they could have where they could have some really good matches, and they just don't for some reason. And that on itself is just something where it's like, look, they should have fixed this at this point, and they haven't. And that's, I guess, whatever, even though other companies are doing it in spades, including letting people of any gender hold a certain title that they have. Mm-hmm. Given what X has become under the leadership of everybody's least favorite Nepo baby scientist, pasty, divorced loser, Elon Musk, there's no way they would be able to vote like premier women's matches on X. So it's just kind of this, when you look at those two things together, this whole thing just doesn't sit right with me. I think it's kind of lame. The 3-minute match thing in general, I'm like, what's the point? This is just to appeal to him, to this extremely skewed far right social media app that he has cultivated into being such. And I just think it's kind of a bad look. I hope this doesn't go over well. I hope it fails. I just think it's a lame cash grab. It's a lame, like, I'm sure Musk threw a bunch of money at them and they're going to take it. And I hope it just kind of disappears, honestly.
You know, WWE does stuff like this all the time.
All the time. All the time.
And some of them...
It's a business. It's a business.
Some of them don't. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think I can understand... I can understand wanting to do it. I can understand why they would do it. I just think instead of highlighting wrestling in a fun way, it just kind of made me think about some of the downsides. And again, I appreciate Piper Niven for not holding back and bringing that up pretty immediately. Like, it's pretty nuts. So that's my thoughts on that. What do you think, Ryan?
You know, I took a more optimistic approach, but now that you mention all of that, I understand. I think it's cool that we're going to see the creativity of two wrestlers having to do it in such a amount of time. It reminds me of something like Tough Enough back in the day.
Oh, sure.
You know, like, all right, you guys, here's your challenge for this week. You got to put together a 3-minute match. And that's all you get, because look, when you're on the indies or you're just starting out, sometimes you don't even get 3 minutes. So like, I think it's cool that like we'll get to see the agility, the speed, the power of some of these wrestlers highlighted in these matches, in these 3 minutes. I also think it's good for wrestlers who don't get a lot of TV time to get some exposure.
I do. I will say I am interested to see who is actually going to be in this program. Right. You know what I mean? That would, I think you're right in that it could highlight some people who don't, don't get as big of a push. But I think it's more of I'm going to take more of a wait and see attitude towards this one. Exactly. At a time when legitimate advertisers and everything are leaving X in spades to sit down and be like, we need to strike a new contract with these guys. It seems like an odd choice. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to wait and see for Becky Lynch's new book that just came out. Not Your Average Girl. I'm hearing really good things about the book. This isn't, ghost written by someone like a lot of these WWE books are. This comes straight from her journal entries throughout her years of wrestling, which I think is awesome. And she does not hold back. So I'm looking forward to reading it, and I'm gaining so much more respect for Becky going into WrestleMania. And I know I've been critical of her in the past, but a lot of her interviews recently and her run-ins with Rhea Ripley and interviews she's done, she's awesome, man. She's winning me back for sure.
Imagine Becky Lynch against like Finn Balor or against like Damian Priest or just somebody, Chad Gable. Like there's so many possibilities that I think they're just missing out on half of the matches that they could be doing.
Absolutely.
Like they're just kind of cutting themselves short.
Did you know she dated Finn Balor?
Oh, really?
That's in the book. There you go, guys.
Cool. Interesting.
There's a little nugget for you. Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
Moving on.
Bo Dallas may be returning to WWE or wrestling in general, and it's interesting because I believe he was in the Uncle Howdy mask, if I remember correctly. That was the rumor anyway. So, but then after the tragic passing of his brother, that just kind of got tossed aside a little bit. And now I believe it's hinted at in the new documentary, which I haven't gotten to watch yet, because I need to clear some time in my schedule for a good cry. That did you see the clip? I know there's a clip going around, correct?
I have not. No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Lovers, not experts, folks. But
I'm behind on this too.
yeah, he's there's a chance he'll be returning. There are rumors going around that he's going to continue Bray Wyatt's legacy in one way or another. And I do love that during Raw last night, they cut off all the lights, started playing Bray Wyatt's theme song, and then played the commercial, which is just, that's still,
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it's mesmerizing. It was beautiful when the man was still alive, too. Like, there was just this, so few wrestlers are able to command a coliseum of people just by showing up. You know what I mean? And that was the power of Bray Wyatt. That was the pull that he had. Just really, really incredible. So we'll see. I'd be interested to see what they do in that realm with Bo Dallas.
He's still under contract, so
he is, and I'll be especially interested because, to be perfectly frank, they didn't seem to have any ideas for him while he was in the company. I feel like he was poorly booked quite often, so I'll be interested to see how they change that, how they pivot, if they decide to do that at all.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Look who it is. We will go through this quickly so we can get to our moments and predictions.
CM Punk. Can I do that? Can I do that like LA Knight?
Yes.
Punk.
I guess so. Yeah, do it.
Oh man. And I didn't even see we got some quotes in here too. CM Punk gave like a 2-hour interview yesterday in his with Ariel Helwani for the MMA hour. There was other great stuff in there too. He sat down with Rhea Ripley later on, and Becky Lynch came out.
That was fun.
Like fighter, just some really, really fun stuff. But the Punk interview, I did not know it was happening. I don't know about you. I didn't know that it was a thing that was going to be happening.
I don't think anyone did.
No, and all of a sudden, I just start seeing things on X where it was people were pulling quotes, and I was like, wait, he's talking about what? He's talking about Tony Khan. Like and he addresses this, that were rumors of NDAs and things of that nature that would make him unable to talk about the Brawl for All or the backstage dust up. He gave a pretty detailed account of his last night in AEW. It was really fascinating stuff and very honest and very open. And I think there are some things that I agreed with, some things that I disagreed with, but he just kind of sat there and talked and really felt a little bit like an open book. And it was a lot of the right questions. Ariel, I thought, asked a lot of great questions. He poked at some things that I just didn't expect them to be poked at or talked about. Like, it was really interesting. He talked about how some of the things that stuck out to me. He talked about how he didn't have a no compete clause when he left AEW.
That's crazy.
Was fired. That's nuts.
Insane.
That's nuts. And it speaks to. Look, I've already seen people criticize him for like backing the WWE so hard because, God forbid he back the company that's literally paying for him to do what he's doing right now. Yeah. And he said plenty of negative things about them when he was over in AEW or in the, decade since decade that he's gone from the company. So it's not like he's marking out for WWE. He's just talking well about his employer. He really gave a full-throated what am I thinking of the word here? But like, he basically said that Vince McMahon was indefensible. Yes, and I love that he even said, he's like, look, forget all the allegations. Look at the text messages. Look at the things that this man was writing. Like, that's all you need. That's all you need to see, to know that he was doing something evil, as Ariel put. Like it just made a lot of sense. One of my favorites is when he went he said after he really goes into detail about the dust up between him and Jack Perry and how that kind of started. And one of my favorite things is Perry calls him out on TV like he did. And then CM Punk goes to Tony Khan and says, just like, can you do something about this? And he's like, well, what do you want me to do? And he said, just be the boss, please. Like, do something. And I thought that was incredibly telling. Like one of the biggest criticisms I think you can levy at AEW is that it is the lunatics running the asylum, quote unquote. And there's a lot of problems with that. There is no real authority figure on or off screen. Just occasionally, like Chris Jericho gets to put his foot down, or this person, or that person, or the Young Bucks, or Kenny Omega. Like so it doesn't go well. And about how he wanted to get in a room and like squash things. Which he brought up multiple times, which to me heavily implies that has already happened between he and Seth Rollins or he and Drew McIntyre, if there was even anything between him and Drew McIntyre already. Like, I feel like he put such an emphasis on that and such an emphasis on the backstage culture at WWE now that I think things are probably pretty good.
Yeah. It sounds like... And here's the problem with the internet and rumor and innuendo in the
Go on.
world. Andrew, let me tell you about that World Wide Web. God. I have hated this man for so long because of all the crybaby antics I've read about on the internet. And that's a problem. And that completely skewed my perception of CM Punk. Now coming out of this like 2-hour interview he did, I am fully on this man's side. It sounds like he was the adult in the room. He was there for business. He was there to be professional, and AEW was anything but from the very beginning. So, I have hope that AEW is changing. I know they just named a new CFO or something like that.
There was also reports this morning that they're going to be letting go of a bunch of wrestlers.
I saw that. Yeah.
Because first of all, one of the most inexcusable things that happens in this interview is that David Zaslav is referenced in a way that doesn't make him look like a giant loser who doesn't know how to run a company and who wants to delete movies for tax breaks. But aside from that, I think you can see there were rumors for so long, and it would only make sense that Max become the streaming home for AEW, right?
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
and
why?
There has to be a reason why. They are probably bleeding money. They are probably there needs to be some kind of, foot put down. There needs to be more structure, things of that nature. And look, I'm spitballing here. I don't have any insider information. This is all going off of like what we're seeing and hearing. But it would make sense for them to do that. I can watch baseball on Max. I can watch hockey. I can watch NASCAR. I can watch CNN. Like all these, a lot of these networks are pivoting to live entertainment for their streaming services. Just like we're seeing WWE go to Netflix for a $1 billion contract over 10 years. Like that is going to be the next phase of these streaming wars. And the fact that WBD has television rights to AEW but hasn't signed them to anything further yet is telling, I think.
Super weird. Yeah. I couldn't agree more, brother. I think I don't know. I don't know where it's heading. We want AEW to succeed. We've made that 100%. Clear.
So does Punk.
So does Punk.
Clear in the interview too. Like he wants his friends to keep getting paid. Like it's a very real grounded interview. I would recommend anybody who hasn't watched it checking it out. But it is, he paints a picture that is not very pretty. And I think I texted you pretty immediately. It was like, I am so excited to see what Tony Khan says about this because he's going to say something. There's no way he won't, even if he just tweets about it for a little bit.
At 4 a.m.
Exactly. Yeah.
Weird white powder on his
as he's coming down, as they say. Come down hard.
Come down is hard, brother.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's not a come down? WrestleMania, baby.
Woo!
WrestleMania. Well, Andrew, The core of this episode, we were going to dedicate to our favorite moments in WrestleMania. And then also we're going to give you guys our predictions of what's going to go down this upcoming Saturday and Sunday. So what do you think? Should we start with our favorite moments? Top three favorite moments?
Let's do it. Let's talk about those. I think that's a fantastic idea.
How you want to do this? You want to go one by one or do all?
Yeah, we'll go one for one. Yeah.
One for one.
I think that's a great idea.
Let's do it, man. Give me your number 3, I guess.
My number 3, I'm gonna say one that has a weird, funny place in my heart that I've maybe talked about this on the show before, which is Stone Cold and Vince McMahon teaming up at the end of WrestleMania 17. And the big reason for that is because I remember we did not order pay-per-views a lot in my house growing up because they were hella expensive. And that night, the night of WrestleMania 17, we actually got to order that one. For whatever reason, my parents were like, okay, we can get, I think because it was WrestleMania and they've been hyping it up so much. That's the one with the Limp Bizkit song and all the promos. Rock, Stone Cold, WWF title, main event. It's going to be crazy. And for whatever reason, I think it was probably that one was running a little long because it was WrestleMania. It was getting a little past 11 o'clock. It might have even been getting close to midnight. And I, being the quote unquote responsible 10-year-old, that 11-year-old that I was just like, no, I have to go to bed. I was like, we have to go to bed because there's school tomorrow. And my dad, who'd never really watched wrestling with us, was just kind of like, no, you can stay up. And he's like, no, I was like, no, there's school tomorrow. Like, I have to wake up at 6. Like, I got to get up. There's school tomorrow. My younger brother.
Your dad's in the corner saying, what a loser.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he was just confused, but he was like, okay, you can go. My younger brother stayed up and watched it. And it's not like I fell asleep. I just went upstairs and laid in my bed like, I'm being responsible. Like, I'm not going to go enjoy myself. I'm responsible. Yeah. And then I missed that happening. I missed that moment. And I've thought about it ever since. Yeah, absolutely. So it was, that is up there for me, WrestleMania moment wise.
All right, guys. I am going to my number 3. And that is going to be, and excuse me for referring to my notes here. This would have to be WrestleMania 30. This was Rock, Austin, and Hulk Hogan shared a beer together. So you had Austin, Rock, and Hulk. They celebrated the 30th WrestleMania with an in-ring promo that paid tribute to their various contributions to the history of the event. They wrapped up the segment with a beer bash that elicited one of the biggest pops of the night. And nobody thought they'd ever see these three in one place again until possibly this year, Andrew, where we might get Austin, we might get Hogan, and we might get The Rock all in the same venue again. So That's my number 3.
To feed into that, to connect things to the weekend a little bit more, I believe a lot of people think that Stone Cold's going to be there this weekend and do something.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
But Austin, yeah. Ooh, okay, cool. We'll put a pin in that. Okay. Nice.
I'm excited, Brandon. I'm excited. Yeah. All right. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is from WrestleMania. Oh, I had this. Let me make sure I get the right one. Yes, WrestleMania 22, which is Edge spearing Mick Foley through a flaming table.
Oh, yes.
They had a hardcore match. It was just one of the better I believe one of, if not the last match that Mick Foley wrestled in the WWE. I could be wrong about that. I know he teamed up with The Rock to face Evolution, but that might have been the year before. I'm honestly not sure. But it's an incredible moment. It is one of the plethora of moments that were involved Mick Foley really sacrificing his body, especially at a time where I think he just didn't have to. But he did it because he's just this consummate performer. And I remember it just blowing my mind when it happened. It was one of those things where I was just like, oh, there's no way that this is going to happen. And it did. And I'm still flabbergasted by that. And I still have such great respect for both of those stars. And to watch two incredible wrestlers go at it like that in a hardcore match in a way that it felt different than most hardcore matches. It's just a great match. And that moment specifically blew my mind.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's stay on Edge because that's actually my
Yes.
next one.
I see. That's what I thought.
Yep, you got it, man. WrestleMania 17. Bubba Ray and Devon defend against Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian in TLC 2. Rhino, Spike, and Lita played pivotal roles in this match. Rhino having a direct impact on the outcome. Let's see. Edge and Christian.
I know another person who does a spear better than Goldberg, and probably before him, by the way. Little callback.
Exactly. Some Japanese woman. Oh God, go listen to episode 3, guys. TLC 2 brought an end to the legendary 3-team rivalry that was a major part of the World Wrestling Entertainment during its most successful period. And it also has my favorite moment of all time, and that is Edge spearing one of the Hardys off the top ladder.
Yes.
And I wanted to show a video, Andrew, but I don't want us to get copyright strikes. we have about 10 of them already.
Oh no. Yeah.
The price of having a WWE themed podcast. But a price we're willing to pay. But that was my number 2. So all right.
Okay.
Let's get to your number 1, baby.
Oh, my number 1. Kofi Mania, baby. WrestleMania 35. Kofi Kingston beats Daniel Bryan for the WWE title. One of those situations where Kofi Kingston was so hot. He's been beloved in the WWE for as long as he's been in the WWE. I think he's still one of the top guys, even though he's not treated as such. And it was just one of those rare moments where Vince McMahon, who was in charge at the time, listened to the fans and what the fans wanted. People wanted Kofi as the champ. Daniel Bryan insisted on wrestling him for that match. They put on a great match, and Kofi Kingston won the belt in a moment that honestly brought tears to my eyes. To see a black man lifted up like that in the main event at WrestleMania was incredibly special. I'll remember it for the rest of my life, even if they did ruin it within months by having him get squashed by Brock Lesnar on like a SmackDown to lose the title. It's still such an absolute bummer that played out the way that it did. But at the very least, 5 years ago, we got to see Kofi Kingston win the title that he very much deserves in a match that was every bit as good as you would have hoped. Yeah,
I still go back and watch that moment where he won. It's beautiful.
It's incredible. It's beautiful. It really is. It really is.
Seeing reactions from around the world of people when he won it. Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah. And they squandered it. He could have had one of the great runs as champion, and they squandered it. So just a really unfortunate, but man, what a match.
It was great. All right. My number 1, we've got WrestleMania 13, Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, baby. Basically, kind of the beginning of the Attitude Era and the phenomenon that was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, he was a major heel at this time.
Because next year is him against Michaels, right?
Yes, him against Michaels. So you're starting to see Stone Cold's character take form here, and you're starting to see Bret Hart sort of turn brutal. You know, the Bret Hart that we were used to is kind of, getting pretty rough with Stone Cold, to the point where at a time where blood was not allowed on TV, much like it has been in the past, we saw some of the bloodiest of blood come from Stone Cold Steve Austin. And, Bret Hart puts him in the, dude.
Wearing the crimson mask, as they say.
It was an incredible moment. Bret Hart puts Stone Cold in the sharpshooter, and he is not tapping out, man.
No.
He is not tapping out. And you could see the crowd start to turn and start to cheer for Stone Cold, which is crazy. By the end, he ends up passing out from the pain. And that was the end of the match, man. But it literally was a pivotal moment in WWE history, and all bets were off after that. And this really did, I think, usher in a lot of what would become the Attitude Era and the Stone Cold phenomenon. He just gained respect week after week after that. And it's just such an iconic image, of Stone Cold with the blood. And I will never, ever forget that.
Amazing. It's crazy to me that in the year following that match, we got things like the Montreal Screwjob and Stone Cold winning the Royal Rumble. There's so much and Mike Tyson joining, it is, you forget how, because Bischoff says often how the Mike Tyson moment was one of the first moments where he was like, they know what they're doing. Yeah. So you kind of start to see the downfall of WCW in that time. You forget how much, Bret Hart basically hopped on a sinking ship and then was used improperly. And then his career got ended by a whiny crybaby who does a move that everybody's been doing forever anyway. Anyway, let's keep going.
I thought we were never going to talk about him again. Damn it, Andrew. Damn it. Anyways, man. All right, guys. Well, those were our top 3 favorite moments from WrestleMania, but we want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments or send us an audio message, an email. Let us know what your favorite WrestleMania moments are. We have a ton of people. I'm surprising you with this, Andrew. I've got about 8 people going to WrestleMania who are going to be sending us their experiences as it's happening. I did a little recon mission, and we're going to be getting a ton of people's reactions as it's happening over on our Twitter, our Instagram, all that good stuff. Maybe we'll have some people join us on the post show that we're going to do.
Oh yeah, probably a good idea. Good time to talk about that right now, huh?
Yeah.
We are going to, after each night, after each Mania, hop on our YouTube channel and just live stream our immediate reactions. We don't have a set time yet, but we are going to sit down pretty quickly and just be like, hey, this is what happened. I'm very tired, but this, no, I'll have some coffee or something. They probably won't be long reactions, but we're just going to sit down and give our unfiltered reactions to what's happening. So please,
which is very important.
Yep, absolutely. So please feel free to join us and see what we're excited about, what we liked, what we didn't like. It's all going to be in there. We're going to have a great time.
Absolutely.
And our YouTube channel, you just search Somewhere in the Ring on YouTube. That's pretty much it, right? Yeah.
That's it, brother.
We're right there.
Go there. I might put it up on my personal YouTube as well. I think you can multi-stream, so cool. That'll be fun. But let's do it, brother. Let's get into our predictions for WrestleMania 40. This is fun. This is always fun. And I think I have them in order of the cards for night 1 and night 2. It's still up in the air which match will go.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, I'm sure it'll change the night of as well.
It probably will. But we're going to start with night 1, and we've got, here we go. Let me get this up. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi versus Damage Control. So what are your predictions for this one?
It's tough because I can see it going 2 ways. Again, all fantasy booking, all just having fun. I could very easily see, I know I've already said this about Judgment Day, but WrestleMania so often works as kind of like a reset, like a season finale, if you will. Things got to change. New storylines got to get developed. I don't see Damage Control as it is currently staying around much longer. I could easily see them losing this. They still would have to do something about getting the title belts off of Asuka and I can't remember her partner's name off the top of my head.
Kairi Sane.
Kairi Sane, thank you.
Yeah.
So they would still have to get the belts off of them. That being said, there were rumors recently that Asuka is dealing with a knee injury that might keep her from Mania. Clearly that didn't happen, but they could be something where she's wrestling through it only to have them then take the belts off of her and yada yada. Now, that being said, so I could easily see Naomi and Bianca and Jade Cargill winning this match. Or I could also see Jade Cargill maybe screwing over her teammates and then taking control of Damage Control. Maybe be the new leader. It could, maybe not. I think it's a little bit up in the air, but I know that they are going to want to do something special with her. And much as I would love to see Bianca, Jade, and Naomi stay as like a stable afterwards, I could also see Jade jumping over and, being the new leader of Damage Control.
I love that. I love that, man. I'm with you. I think Damage Control is kind of done. This iteration of it.
Yeah.
Like you said, Asuka might be injured. Kairi Sane, they're just not giving her a lot to do really to work with. She's a great wrestler. And then Dakota Kai, I mean, she just came back from like a super debilitating injury too. So I don't see this reign of Damage Control with the tag titles remaining. So look, maybe you're right. I could see like, Bianca and Naomi sort of teaming up, but I do agree with you. I think Jade has to stand out. First of all, she has to win this match somehow. I mean, it would look horrible if she lost like her kind of second. I don't really consider the Royal Rumble a match.
Yeah, I don't think that counts. Yeah.
This would be her first official match at WrestleMania. Like, how many people can really say that? So, I think it would be very detrimental to have her lose. So if they win, I'm with you. I'm stealing your prediction too. I think she's going to set herself apart and truly show, like, no, I'm not here to team up with anyone. I'm here to be Jade Cargill, and that's it. So. We'll see. We'll see.
It's exciting. It's going to be a great match.
I love it. This should be a good one, too. Let's move to Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee versus Dom and Santos Escobar. What do you have for this one?
I think Dom's going to get a clean win on this one.
Really?
I think he's going to pin his dad cleanly. I think it has to happen. This to me is almost the same as the Reigns Rhodes rematch, in that we're seeing a similar storyline play out and you just can't do the same thing again. So I think Dom not even getting, and I don't think him cheating to win would be a satisfying conclusion either. I think he's got to pin his dad, and I think Rey Mysterio would love that, honestly. Like I think that, like, behind the scenes there would probably be a lot of love for that angle. So in my mind, that is how this is gonna play out, is that we're gonna have Dom win the match by pinning Rey Mysterio.
Love it. You're selling me on all these. I'm going to go first for the next one, or else I'm going to be influenced again by your much more in-depth analysis.
Oh, no, please.
No, I think you're right, but I'll stick with my original prediction. I want to see Rey and Dragon Lee win. Not so much for Rey. I would love to see Dragon Lee get a push maybe with this match. I think he's awesome. Yeah, I just want to see what he's capable of. So I'm going to go with Rey and Dragon Lee on this one, even though I want to change my mind. But I won't. I'll stick with it. Fair
enough. All right, what you got for the Usos?
The Usos. I love these two, but dude, I honestly don't really care what happens. I hate to say it. I feel like Jimmy needs something right now. He's not working with much, but I guess this is it. Another match versus the Uso brothers. I could see both of them. However,
have they wrestled each other before?
I believe they have. I mean,
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think they did during was it that Civil War thing, or am I?
Maybe. Oh, well, I think they've been in like bigger like matches with the both of them in it, but I don't know if they've had like a one-on-one in this grand a stage before.
Oh, you might be right, actually. Well, hey, I'm going with Jay.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Jay. I love that. I'm with you there that I think Jay is probably going to win. I also love that they've been doing the double dragon color scheming for this whole thing with Jay and blue and Jimmy and red. Like, they've gone so hard with that, which I kind of love. But if I may throw an extra wrinkle in there, yes. Another person rumored to be at the show this weekend is their father, Rikishi. And I don't think this feud can go much longer. I would love to see these two tag again, because as much as I've really enjoyed Jey Uso's singles run, I think they would be more fun to watch as a tag team, though. And I in my dream of dreams, Rikishi comes out After the match, whoever wins gets them both to shake hands, and then they all dance in the ring together. That is me trying to project my dream as a father of twins onto Rikishi, who is also a father of twins, and that the idea that I could do something like this on this big a scale with my sons, I know I wouldn't pass that up in the slightest. So I think that would be just a really lovely way to end things, right? Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be beautiful, man. And
We'll see.
I'm putting you on the spot here for our Patreon. I want a video of you and your boys doing the Too Cool dance.
Oh man! We're gonna work on that. I will get back to you.
Okay. That's fair.
There's definitely at least footage of me and my brother doing that at some point. We used to do it all the time. Too cool.
Too cool. All right, we got the 6-pack ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. I have, let's see here. Well, let's go through them quick. We got the Judgment Day, obviously, versus DIY, versus Awesome Truth, versus The New Day, versus A-Town Down Under, versus New Catch Republic. All right, Andrew.
Down Under is such a
Downtown
bad
Under.
name. That's so awful. I don't think I knew they were called that. That's such a bad name. Okay, I was gonna say
Like Awesome Truth is any better.
It is. At least it's kind of dumb. You know what I mean? Like I feel like A-Town Down Under is supposed to be taken seriously. It's just dumb. That's like just super dumb. Awesome Truth is more like fun dumb in the way that our Truth and Miz have been fun dumb recently. You know what I mean? I was going to say that anyone could win this match, and I still kind of stand by that. There's no way they're putting the belts here, introducing your undisputed tag team champions, A-Town Down Under. That's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. But who knows? I might be wrong. I think Austin Theory is still around for a reason, whatever that reason may be. And even though I meant to say this last time, it always feels weird when I'm just like, oh, I don't like this wrestler or that wrestler. Sure, they're all cool for the most part, cool people. I do actually remember Austin Theory recently when they were doing the show in Elimination Chamber in Australia. He like really laid into a guy who was trying to interview him that was just not taking wrestling seriously, and I really respected that. So I got to throw that out there because I don't want to just spend all the time poo-pooing Austin Theory. But I would almost like, we'll go in order of elimination here. So I'm pointing at the picture. I don't think A-Town Down Under is going to win. I would think they would be the least likely, surprisingly enough. What are the other guys' names? Who's even in that team?
DIY. We've got.
It's so fun. No, sorry. Oh, the New Catch Republic.
Oh, the New Catch Republic. Yeah.
Also not a name that I see having titles on. So, and it's so silly to feel like it comes down to something like that, but I think it might. So if we're looking at this poster, I'm going to cross off that top row of people.
Okay.
I don't think Awesome Truth is going to win it either, because I think that's more of a fun team. I don't see them like sticking together much longer past WrestleMania.
Okay.
I think they need to break up Damian Priest and Finn Balor. As fun as they are, I think they're both meant for bigger things. Damian Priest especially. And even though I do love both of them, I think their time as a tag team has come to an end. So there goes that one as well. If we get down between DIY and New Day, I think New Day there's a very good possibility. I think at the very least, we'll see some cool Kofi Kingston ladder match stuff. I think DIY is probably going to walk away with this one.
Wow.
I think they need that boost. I also in the last episode remarked about how much I missed matching tag team outfits, and I forgot that these dudes are just as matching as they could possibly be, which I love. So they're going to get extra points from me for that. This is all this is very scientifically based. So I think it's going to be DIY. I think DIY is going to walk away with it. They need that boost, and they're Triple H guys from what everybody says, and I think it's time for them to be pushed as more than just this kind of lower tier tag team, because I don't think they are that. I think they're both very talented, and I'm actually surprised they haven't gotten a bigger push already. But again, I think it's because WWE And I saw some people talking about this in regards to the Punk interview, in that WWE will often, they focus on the same guys a lot, but they build those people up until, like, you would argue some people are like quote unquote sick of them, but that's how you get like people that have 10 out of 10 fan rating, like with people that really like crowds really quick with. You got to kind of shove them down their throats a little bit. And I'm surprised that hasn't happened more with DIY. And I think the only way to really do that is to have them win the belts, but they also don't want to diminish the returns of Finn Balor and Damian Priest. So having this kind of 6-pack ladder match where people can lose without losing, I think is the easy way to do that. They can both lift up DIY while also not making Finn Balor and Damian Priest look like losers. So that would be my guess, is DIY.
I love it. Again, and this is like the genius of booking, that everyone sort of wins, in terms of like getting raised up instead of down, having their moment in WrestleMania, but also like, and then, dismantling some of these groups. I agree. I think Judgment Day is on its way out.
Yeah.
I think both of
Which
them
is good.
are,
It's served its time. It's served its
fine.
purpose.
It's time. And DIY was probably my favorite moment from the Raw in Albany, New York that you and I went to.
Oh, yeah.
They really, really won me over.
Yeah, same. Yeah, that was a great match.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And apparently they were like incredible in NXT. Paul, my friend and colleague, has nothing but praise for those two. So
they have
happy for them.
As opponents too. Like they really put each other
against
each
other. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
So yeah, I've got. Damn it! This is why you can't go first. I want DIY now. I'm going with Awesome Truth. I know it's ridiculous, but
no. Hey, I think that's just as good of a guess. Honestly,
I am like simping for R-Truth harder than ever.
He's
right
great,
now, so.
And the Miz is a great straight man for him. Like they are a really fun team. There's no denying that.
Let's do it. Gunther versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship.
You go first.
You want me first? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have got I see Sami winning. How I don't know. But I think it's just gonna be true grit. And I loved that they did this like Rocky-esque thing last night on Raw in Brooklyn with Chad Gable helping him out. I love that. I love it. It says so much about the character of Chad Gable. I think, unless he ends up somehow turning on Sami Zayn, but I could see Chad Gable either being in Sami's corner or interfering somehow.
Sure.
I don't know though. I hope not. I could see him turning on Sami at the end, possibly, or immediately challenging him after Sami wins. So I think it's time. I think it's time for Gunther to end his reign. And Sami's always reliable. I think he needs a belt right now. He's kind of in that weird limbo. So I could see Sami coming out on top with this, with a very quick challenge from Chad Gable after.
Fair enough. I think they are going to try to recapture the magic of Cody Rhodes losing last year and have Sami Zayn lose this match. Okay. I think they've been building up in such a way that, and once again, it feels like a foregone conclusion that the underdog is going to win. And I just think that they're going to make that not happen. I also think that Gunther is kind of in this weird middle ground as well, where I think he's clearly big picture ready, but I don't see him going into the World Heavyweight title picture until maybe like sometime next year when he wins the Royal Rumble. There's a very good chance that he could be the like heel to Cody Rhodes' face champion. But I also just don't know if they're ready for that. I also don't know what that would do to Gunther afterwards. I think keeping him as the Intercontinental Champ is safer right now for him. For now, he's got to lose it eventually, but it does add more prestige to that belt the longer they keep him in it, on it, keep it on him. Either way, so I think he's going to walk away from this still Intercontinental Champion.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. All right, we're getting close to the end of night one, Andrew. We've got Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. I'll just go through this quick. Rhea will retain. She's too big right now, too hot right now, too over. But I think it's going to be a brutal match.
Yep.
I'm also scared for both of them because there seems to be some real heat between them more recently. Becky said some pretty controversial stuff about how Rhea's been acting.
I mean, they're blurring that line a lot right now.
They're blurring it more than ever.
Everybody's taking a page out of the Punk book, man.
Exactly.
That's what it is. That's that positive influence in there. I agree with you. I think it's going to be a great match. I think Rhea's going to win. It's also because I don't think Becky Lynch is going anywhere necessarily. Apparently, there's about 2 months left on her contract.
Yeah.
And I don't see her jumping ship and going to AEW. But she's a newer mom. Maybe she wants to be home with her kid a little bit more. The same could be said for Seth Rollins. Who knows? I could see more of like Becky taking a break after this. But I also could be wrong about that. Maybe Seth Rollins loses as well. And that's it's a double break. But at the end of the day, I think that this would ideally be more of a way to propel Rhea Ripley even further as champ. Because she is fantastic. She's worked really hard. And I think Becky's time hasn't passed necessarily, but I think to keep things fresh and keep things going, Rhea's got to win this match.
Absolutely. And thus also dismantling the Judgment Day even further.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Imagine if she wins and they all lose their matches. I mean, I know I already said Dominic was going to win, but I could see her I would love to see Judgment Day end because Rhea Ripley just kicks them all to the curb.
Exactly. And I'm sorry, the mommy thing and Dirty Dom, it's just creepy, dude. I'm over it. I don't like it.
I hear you, but agree to disagree.
Okay. I hear you. You're valid.
I understand. I respect you, but you're wrong.
I see.
No.
How dare you? This is our first controversy we're creating on the show, guys.
Yeah.
This is real heat. Cheap heat, nonetheless.
Ryan, anti-butts and faces. Andrew, pro-butts and faces. You heard it here first. That's what it is. All right, what's the main event for night?
All right, main event. We have got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. I
thought for a minute last night that The Rock was going to wrestle Seth Rollins on Raw, but
that was insane.
Not. Of course not, because Ryan, oh my God, just very quickly because we didn't really do a Raw recap, which is whatever.
Please.
The night ended with Dwayne and I call him Dwayne. We're close. Dwayne and Roman Reigns whipping Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins with a belt. And at one point, I said, "Stop!"
It was. I was like brutal. Cringe in the corner. Not like cringe, but like cringing in pain. You can feel it.
Yes. And I got to give it to them. At one point they held Cody down, ripped off his shirt and hit him directly in the back. I was like, there's no way that doesn't hurt. There's no way. You could hear it. And also they almost put The Rock through a table and all I could think, I was like, oh God, he's enormous. He's so much bigger than all three of those other men. It's nuts. It's really crazy. This is one I'm less certain about this one than I am about the next one, than the main event for the next night.
Okay.
I am right down the middle on this one. I could see either side winning this match. I think both would be smart. It's one of those things where I have no prediction. I'm just excited the match is happening. Does that make sense? It just looks like fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be The Rock returning to the ring for the first time in, I believe, 10 years. It's going to be we're seeing three people at their absolute, and we'll see how The Rock is ring rust wise. And that's not to say that there's going to be ring rust. I'm sure he's taking bumps. I'm sure he's training right now, but
He had
I'll
a
be
little
interested.
trouble getting up last night. You could see.
Well, it's because he
in-
was wearing those $7,000 shoes and a
Touche.
$8,000 cow vest. Oh God, I love how hideous his outfits are.
He brought
He's
it
such a
back,
perfect
man.
heel.
Have you seen the side-by-side image of the cow vest?
Yep,
Yeah.
he's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. The dude knows exactly what he's doing right now. So I've said it before. I'll save why I think it could go either way for the actual main event when we talk about it for the actual main event. But I could see this going either way.
Okay. For me, logically, Rock and Roman have to win.
Gotcha. Sure.
Which will play into my main event for night 2.
Sure.
Logically, it just makes sense for me in terms of what is kind of being predicted and assumed. But again, like that's makes an ass out of you and just me. Just me.
just to have a little bit more fun, and I'm gonna go the other way. Okay. I think Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins do win this match, and I'll explain why when we get to the main event.
All right, let's go.
Yep.
Let's get to night 2.
LA Knight. I'm sorry. I'm contractually obligated to say that every time he comes up.
I love it. I love it, man.
I have fallen in love with this man as a wrestler. Both of these guys are. I've always liked AJ Styles. It took me a little bit to come around to LA Knight, even though I do remember really liking his Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. But
that made him. I swear.
It did. Honestly, it did. It really did. That was huge. That was a big event with a lot of eyes on it. And it was Bray Wyatt's first match back in the company after his absence, after being fired. So, but this is one I think LA Knight is going to win.
I love it.
I think he can. It's
LA Knight.
Ryan cut away and came back with some sweet Ray-Bans on. AJ Styles is phenomenal, the phenomenal one. He also said he's going to have some new entrance music for this, which I think is pretty exciting, even though I really love his current entrance music. It's got a little Dirty South to it. But he has been, they've both been in this business for a long time. You got to remember that LA Knight is like 44 years old. He's been wrestling for a long time. But I think it's all about who's going to get that profile raise at the end. And look, they're both going to make each other look good. This is going to be probably one of the better matches of the weekend, just pure wrestling wise. But I think LA Knight is probably going to come out on top. And I could see him being more in the world heavyweight title picture going forward. It's a weird thing with that belt because Knight is on SmackDown and the belt is on Raw, and I don't know if they're going to change that at any point. But if they did, I could see him maybe even winning it in the near future. You know what I mean? Or ending it. Maybe Drew McIntyre takes it from Seth Rollins and LA Knight becomes his first face opponent, something along those lines. But I think LA Knight's going to win this one.
Okay. I'm with you, brother. LA Knight.
You look like Orange Cassidy right now.
Thank you.
You're rocking the denim and the sunglasses.
That's what I was going for.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
Canadian tuxedo, baby.
Are you also wearing jeans? Are you also wearing jeans right now?
I am.
Awesome. All right, fair enough.
LA
You're
Knight
in
has
Canada.
To
I think you're legally obligated to. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Good point. Thanks for doxing me in the country. It's going to be so easy for people to find me in one of the biggest countries. Like you said, LA Knight, he's been wrestling for 20 years at this point. He's 41 years old, and this is his first WrestleMania. I made sure of that. I fact checked it right? Yes. Yeah, my fact checker said yes. Thank you. And dude, he's still over with the fans, me included. So he has to win. And I could see this feud actually continuing after me.
Yeah, I could too. So, I could see that.
Yeah, so we'll see. LA Knight for the win. Let's go to our next match. Oh, dude, this is the one you were hoping for, and it's becoming a reality.
So
Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus Final Testament 6-man tag team Philadelphia Street Fight, whatever that is. So what do you got?
This is another one where I'm just honestly not sure. I can see pluses to both sides. For whatever reason, I think Montez Ford had a breakout performance at Elimination Chamber last year, and the WWE has squandered him since then. He is somebody who I think needs to not be in a tag team anymore. He needs a singles run. I would love to see him in a feud with, like, say, Logan Paul or somebody like that. Like, there could be some good matches that he could get into. And as much as I love the Street Profits, if they're not going to use them in a way that's integral to the tag team belts, then they need to split them up. And I mean, they have long not known what to do with Bobby Lashley. That isn't new. So I think more than likely, what is the author of Pain and Karrion Kross's name? Authors of Pain and Karrion Kross's name now? What is it?
I have no.
Sorry, the team. Oh, Final Testament.
Oh, Final Testament.
Called, right? Yeah. So I think they will probably keep going. The Authors of Pain, I'm glad they brought them back and are using them a little bit more properly than they were before. Karrion Kross is another one who I believe is a bit of a Triple H guy. So I could see them winning this and raising the profile of all three of them a little bit and probably splitting up the Street Profits in the process. I hope. That's not something I know. Who knows if they will do it. I love the Street Profits. I love Bobby Lashley. They don't need to win this match, and I hope that it sends Montez Ford on. Heck, put him in a feud with Bobby Lashley for a little bit. Or I'm not interested in seeing him feud with Angelo Dawkins. I like Angelo Dawkins as a tag team wrestler. I don't know if I want to see him go on a singles run, but maybe they'll, give him a new gimmick, do something fun with him. But I see them. I see Final Testament winning this match and Street Profits breaking up. Hopefully.
I agree on the breakup of the Street Profits. However, I do see a win for them. Only because I love Bobby Lashley. I have.
Sure. Oh, me too. Yeah.
Fan of him. And the rumor is
another person who does the spear better than Goldberg. Sorry, keep
exactly.
Going.
Nope. Damn it, Andrew.
I will never let it go. I will never let it go. No, that's rule of threes. That means I'll stop.
Okay. Again, the comedian of the two. I think I want this for Lashley because the rumor is he's going to be kind of going back to his actual Bobby Lashley self. That's kind of the rumor right now for a solo run. So again, I think I could see some good feuds in the future for Lashley. I do see a win, but I also could see the Street Profits breaking up after this. So
and honestly, like, they can propel him forward into a singles run and still have them lose this match if Angelo Dawkins loses the match for them. If Montez, I think I could see Angelo Dawkins getting pinned to be the one getting pinned to lose this match. And hey, I would love to. Oh man, can you imagine Bobby Lashley against Drew McIntyre again, or even a Bobby Lashley against the Seth Rollins? Whoever wins that World Heavyweight title match, I'd be excited for that. So.
Ooh. I'm in, baby. Ooh, all right. So we have to remind people we will be seeing the Prime logo in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania.
You just reminded me of that. It made me so sad.
I totally forgot too, man, until I was in a convenience store last night in, again, a North American country that shall not be named. And I saw the Prime energy drink, and it just reminded me, oh yeah, WrestleMania is where this is beginning. So I'm gonna go first with this one. My hope is that Owens and Orton beat the living hell out of Logan Paul during this match, and because I think the crowd would just eat it up. I do. I would love to see it. Just like I would like to see his brother get the hell beaten out of him by Mike Tyson.
Nobody's going to get beat up in that fight. That's going to be two dudes hugging for an hour and then walking away getting paid $20 million each. Like, just boom. Everybody's falling for that. It's so like that. That match is faker than anything that's going to happen at WrestleMania this week. There's just no way. No way. But anyway, sorry. I think Logan Paul is absolutely going to get beat up in this match. I still think he's going to win it, though. And it's so funny because until you just reminded me of that Prime logo, I would have said no. There is no way that he is going to sign a deal that big with WWE, and the first night, I mean, technically second, that logo is in the center of the ring, he's going to get pinned on it. There's just
That's such a good point.
There's just no way. I look, I would love to be wrong mainly because I think he should also be in the World Heavyweight title picture. And he will be within a year easily. If not the WWE title picture. But I think he's probably going to win this match. And then, hey, maybe I'll get lucky and he'll end up in a feud with Montez Ford, because I think that would be pretty great for that U.S. title.
I love that. Yeah, I actually have Paul winning too.
Yep.
But I think he's going to take a huge beating in this. And I also am seeing Randy Orton beat the hell out of Kevin Owens too.
Sure. Yeah.
I think, ever since Randy came back, he hasn't really wowed me.
Well, he's being a baby face, which is not when he does his best work.
Exactly.
Randy Orton is the kind of heel that people cheer for, and I like how laid back he is. I'm loving the kind of he's having fun, which is great. Fun. Yeah, but I could see him and Owens ending up in a feud after this match, and Paul moving on.
Yes. Exactly. Sauntering off and slithering away with his.
And I just imagine like a singles ladder match, which I can't remember the last time we had one of those, honestly.
Yeah, good point.
Which is weird to think about out loud. I genuinely can't remember. If it's out there, somebody tell us. But imagine a ladder match between Logan Paul and Montez Ford for the U.S. title. Like that could be incredible. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping Paul wins and then ends up in a feud with Montez Ford.
I love that. Throw in Ricochet for a triple threat ladder match.
I would watch Ricochet do anything. Is he in this? I don't think he's in this
he's not.
Night. No, lame. At least he's been getting his time on Raw. Yeah.
Dude, he's I think
he's going to be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on Friday too. Yeah, I could be wrong about that. But
killing it lately.
Yeah, his match against Ivar last night was pretty incredible.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Talk about amazing. We have got the women's champion, Io Sky versus Bayley. What do you think?
Bayley's got to win this one.
Agreed.
Yeah,
agreed.
This is one of those foregone conclusion ones that I just think makes sense and would be kind of silly to not do. She's earned it. She's going to have a blast. I think the crowd would get behind it. It's got to happen. I think it's got to be Bayley.
Agreed. Io Sky is fantastic, but it's just time.
Yeah, it's going to be a great match. It's going to be an incredible match, but it's time.
I mean, the fact that this is slated to be the third to last match says a lot. So we'll see if that changes. But yeah, looking forward. Hope it's Bayley. Moving on. Oh,
Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre. I got nothing. I honestly do not know who's going to win this match. Legitimately, because there's so much surrounding it. There's so much. One of the things that CM Punk talked about on the show is the MMA Hour interview that he did was how he was originally supposed to be wrestling Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. And so now that I say things out loud, I'm like, maybe I do think I know who might win this match. I think Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch might take a break after this. Both of them together. If for those who aren't aware, they're married in real life. They have a child who I think is maybe a year old, if not a little bit older. And they've both been working constantly, Seth Rollins especially. And I think if Punk were going to wrestle Rollins at WrestleMania, there's no way he would have lost. Now, things change all the time, but it's that mix of, I think Seth Rollins probably would have lost originally. It's time to get the belt that belt onto somebody else. And Drew McIntyre is crushing it right now. And I can even see, CM Punk has been kind of toying. Another thing that he toyed with in the interview is that he's probably closer to ready. He thinks he's closer to ready to come back than WWE officials do. He said that he literally said, they're saving me from myself, thankfully. So I think we could see Rollins lose and then maybe the beginnings of the Punk McIntyre feud, because I do think that will come shortly afterwards.
I love that again. And that's why Punk is going to be announcing this match.
Now, that being said, if I may throw a little wrinkle in here,
please do.
Damian Priest is still the Money in the Bank briefcase holder.
Oh, damn it.
If they really want to have some fun,
Forgetting.
We are on now, I believe, the 10-year anniversary or something like that, maybe 9 of Seth Rollins cashing in the Money in the Bank and winning his belt at WrestleMania. I think they could kind of recreate that magic in a really fun way and have Damian Priest come in and win that belt. Because otherwise, why have the Money in the Bank? Like, why have that briefcase? I want to see them do something with it. So I think that is a possibility. That could come out of left field. Somebody could win this match and Damian Priest could come in. But that being said, I mean, he could also use that on Gunther, now that I think about it. That could be pretty exciting. But I do think, given the segment that we saw last week on Raw between Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Drew McIntyre, they're probably going to keep that stuff going. And how popular that was. They're going to keep that going for a while. And I can see whoever wins this match is going to have a stare down with Punk in the center of the ring after it's over. That's the only thing that I can say, quote unquote, for sure. Nothing's for sure. Things change all the time. But I got a feeling that they're going to really set up whoever wins this match is going to be in a feud with Punk next. And that could be sooner rather than later. Also, let's not forget that Rollins was injured recently too and had to stop wrestling for a little bit. Yeah. So he could use a break.
He could use it. I'm with you, man. I again, like, blurring those lines, like, Punk has actual, or has had actual heat with both of these guys. So I think it would behoove the WWE, if I may speak as a expert on business. I did go to business school, aka theater degree. I want to see Drew and CM Punk in the near future. I really do. So I'm seeing Drew come out on top, as the Scottish Highlander, as my clan brother. Oh, that sounds horrible. That sounds terrible.
Yeah,
that could be taken way out of context. Oh my god. I'm keeping that in. I'm keeping it in.
Good. Do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I want Drew all the way.
I can see it. And look, they're going to have pay-per-view in Scotland. I believe he's on the poster for it. So that means his contract isn't going to be up like people thought. Why not have him go to that event with the title around his waist? They've been good about that stuff. So
he deserves it.
Yeah. I think he does too.
Yeah. Clash at the Castle, guys. Glasgow, Scotland. I will see you there.
Ooh.
Andrew, all right. Here we go. Main event, night 2. What we've been waiting for over, I would say, 2 years now at this point.
And by the way, well, I think we can start by saying that if you're listening to this now, we're going to be releasing a match commentary for the first match from WrestleMania 39 this week. So please make sure to check that out. I think it's safe to say that this match is going to be long, very long.
We're thinking an hour or so.
Easily, I think. I don't think it'll go over an hour, but I think it'll probably be an hour long. There's fewer matches on night 2 than night 1, I think. So they're probably going to be able to pad that time. But even though they're playing, the first hour of Raw was advertised as being commercial free, and I believe they started commercials at 8:52 last night. I think they only did it commercial free because they assumed that the Bloodline segment was gonna go long, and I just don't think it did. So they were kind of like, okay, whatever. Commercials 8:52. I thought that was very funny. To go into what I have said a lot, which is that The Rock is going to end up with some kind of new corporation after this event. I think that Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins are going to win the tag match. So there is going to be a no bloodline at ringside stipulation that happens. And The Rock and Solo Sikoa, or maybe just Rock on his own, are going to interfere, declare that they are no longer part of the bloodline, and make sure that Roman Reigns loses.
Wow.
Yep. Okay. I honestly do. I could be wrong. As we've said before, there are rumors that The Rock is going to be at whatever next Saudi Arabia event is going to be happening. And I think they would more than likely try to be like, oh, we'll have Roman Reigns and The Rock in the Saudi Arabia event because they'll give us $100 million to do that or something along those lines. But And look, they could do that without the belt. They could just have those two wrestle in Saudi Arabia. But I think that Cody Rhodes walks away with this belt, and I do think that The Rock is going to help him win.
Interesting. Okay, here's mine, which is now sounding ridiculous, but I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it. All right, here we go. I believe this will be Bloodline rules.
Okay.
I'm sticking with that. But now that you mention, they are teasing The Rock turning on Roman. They really, really are. A few moments last night on Raw kind of solidified that for me. However, I don't know if WrestleMania will be the place where he does it. I don't know. Here we go. Bloodline rules. Tons of weird interference I'm seeing from Jimmy, possibly Solo. Here's what I'm hoping. I want Dustin Rhodes to show up.
Ooh.
I know that's close to impossible. I get it contractually.
Especially after Punk's interview yesterday.
I know.
There's no way. There's no way Khan lets that happen. But sorry, keep going. It's okay. That's why we're doing this. We're having fun.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome.
So maybe Dustin Rhodes shows up to help Cody and fails. So no matter what, even if he does or doesn't show up, it's not going to make a difference. I could then see John Cena showing up and tries to help Cody and also fails. And I'm sticking with my original prediction from a few weeks ago. Just when all hope fades, glass break, Stone Cold comes in, stuns everyone. The entire ringside is cleared, and Cody and Roman face it alone for the pin by Cody. End of story.
I do love Austin being more of like an enforcer and not necessarily like ending the match himself. I think that is a fantastic idea.
I don't see Austin interfering in the match. Clearing all of the bloodline, including The Rock. I want to see a face-off or a stare-down between The Rock and Stone Cold, giving us echoes of their past WrestleMania matches. And maybe even a stunner. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey,
or a rock bottom. I don't care. Give me one of those outside the ring. I don't want to see any of these guys. Cena, Stone Cold, Dustin Rhodes, or any of them in the ring. I want this to be a clean match inside somewhere in the ring. But anything outside of the ring is totally game for me. So,
okay.
Yeah. I'm going with that. I know it's ridiculous fantasy booking, but
it's still fun that it's WrestleMania. WrestleMania is when you get the fantasy booking. WrestleMania is when the crazy things happen. Like that's the point. So I'm right there with you.
That's what I got, brother. So again, guys, we are going to be doing live streams reactions directly after each night of WrestleMania. So join us on the Ryan Sprague YouTube channel and the Somewhere in the Ring YouTube channel. Let's get those subscriptions up over there. That's going to be super, super fun. Andrew, any other stuff at WrestleMania you think is going to happen that we didn't mention?
I just hope Hulk Hogan doesn't show up. That's really just it's what I don't want. I just don't want to see his big dumb face. So I all the other stuff, Rikishi would be fun. I just hope I am genuinely surprised at least a couple times. That's all I want. I think that's the best part about Wrestle. I think we will be too. I think that last year they, proved how far they're willing to go to surprise people. I have a lot of trust in Triple H and the creative team. So yeah, we'll see. I just want to be surprised. I think that's my biggest want from WrestleMania.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I hope we're all surprised. WrestleMania is Saturday, April 6th, Sunday, April 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, 4 p.m. Pacific time. If you're in the States, it's on Peacock. If you're anywhere else in the world, you can watch it on the WWE Network. So be sure to tune in. Like I said, we'll be live streaming after each night. So check us out right here on YouTube. And then that will go up on our podcast feeds pretty soon after as well. If you're watching the live streams, join us in the live chat. Let us know what you thought as well. That'll be super fun. And we will have a post-WrestleMania episode next week to cover everything.
Cover the Raw after the best Raw of the year. And look, if you thought this episode was long, you ain't heard nothing yet. So strap in. Very excited to dive into WrestleMania as it's happening, after it happens, once the dust settles, once we get some ideas as to what could be happening in the future. Some of the best, I mean, the iteration of DX that everybody loves was formed at the Raw after WrestleMania. Other things have happened, I'm sure. The Raw after WrestleMania is usually very exciting. So tune in, join us, listen. Head to our Patreon, patreon.com/somewhere in the ring. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all those things. And please join us on YouTube for some live stream and some live reactions. If you want to jump in the comments and freak out with us, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be having fun talking about the show, and I'm just really looking forward to it.
Best time of the year, man. I love it. Use hashtag WrestleMania, hashtag Somewhere in the Ring, hashtag Somewhere in the Ring pod on your social media, guys. Let's build the community. Keep the Facebook group active throughout the night. We'll be checking that as well.
It's growing more and more every day. So hop over there, see the fun stuff that we're pushing and we're talking about. And as always, again, if you listen to this episode, especially if you're still with us now, please head over to Apple even if you're not using Apple Podcasts, head over to Apple Podcasts, leave a rating, leave us a review. The written ones definitely help. It helps with the visibility, and it helps us bring more wonderful content to you.
Absolutely. I love it, brother. All right. Woo! Those were our predictions. Again, let's hear yours. And
we cut out again. We got to leave that one in. Ryan has abandoned the pod. He's abandoned us.
Oh my God, dude. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Yeah. Let's ride it out without the mic. I can hear you. I think everybody will understand. Huh?
Okay. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
All right, guys. We will see you at WrestleMania this weekend. And we will see you next week again somewhere in the ring. Ring the bell, Andrew.
Ooh, ding, 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 ding. Ooh, yeah.
This has been Somewhere in the Ring. Thank you for listening. Subscribe wherever you get your pods, and be sure to rate and review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever possible. We'll see you again soon, somewhere in the ring.